I guess it's time to do the yearly wrap-up of stuff I've made like everyone else will be doing soon if they haven't already done so, and then maybe we'll talk about the road ahead. I'm pretty happy. For the first time really, I've made enough things in a year that I can actually do a little bit of a retrospective and go over what worked and what didn't. And who knows, maybe my experience will help you figure out if these projects are right for you or not. In many ways, I'm still figuring out what the heck I'm doing in regards to sewing, and some crafting, and, well, making videos. Life's a learning experience. Like a sitcom retrospective clip show, we're going to be relying on clips from past videos because I don't have a garment rack as part of my set dressing, and this is my living room just after Yule, so it's not in any shape for me to prance around like I'm in a fashion show. Let's get into this. Remember the time I made an apron? This is the Studio Handworks Grace Pinafore apron made in a very pretty burgundy paisley cotton. When I made it, the skirt was too small and the bib was too big. I haven't worn it at all, which is disappointing. It's in the to be altered pile because I'd like to wear it someday. I just haven't made the time to fix it. What have I used for my infrequent baking? My grandmother's old apron. The same one I was wearing when I said I needed a new apron. I went on a real granny square kick in January and February. I have a bunch of granny squares kicking around, I just don't know if it's enough for a blanket. I need to do a bit of an inventory and either attach them all together or just make the rest of what's needed. That might be a job for Finish It February. Something tells me I have a few things I need to get done in that month. Speaking of crafty things, I'd like to take a moment to thank my Patreon supporters and channel members. A lot of my supporters are crafty people themselves, and I like to encourage them to join my Discord server so they can mingle. You don't have to be a member of the Craft Coven to join my Discord, but if you are, you get a little extra color to your name so folks know who you are. That said, I'm always stunned by the things my supporters are working on. I can't wait to see if they decide to join me for Finish It February. That could be a blast. Have you any outstanding projects you're working on? Let me know in the comments down below. At the same time, you might want to check to see if you're subscribed. I know some folks have been saying that's been an issue for them. Booping the like button is always appreciated. In March, I altered a store-bought sweater that didn't fit very well because the neck was extremely unfortunate. The sweater cost maybe $10 in the clearance section of Walmart, and cutting and crocheting the neckline to be more flattering made a huge improvement. I've worn the sweater a few times, just not on camera because the color's a real challenge to light properly. April and May were devoted to what I called the Enid project, based on the character Enid from Netflix's Wednesday. The outfit was supposed to be a trial run for the eventual Wednesday project, since Enid is, basically, the colorful complement to the teenage Wednesday Addams. I was working with a pink linen blend that turned out to be very sheer, to the point where I needed to make a camisole top to go under the dress. The dress itself was an altered version of an Edwardian shirtwaist I'd made the year before. This did not turn out well. I was sure the camisole pattern was too small, so I enlarged it. The upshot is I swam in the camisole and it was far too bulky under the dress. The dress was baggy and droopy because, well, it was made from a rather blousy shirt. And I haven't really worn the two variations of snoods I put together for this look because infinity scarves don't really do it for me, and it's easier to put my hair in a bun than try to wrangle my hair into a hairnet. It's possible the fabric from this project will be recycled into something else if it's not too chopped up from its current state. I know piecing is period, but I'll probably be lucky to get another better fitting tank from this come summer, which will be nice because the way climate change has altered the Western Canadian summer, I can use more tank tops. I had to make a trip to a family member's celebration of life in May, I want to say, so I attempted a capsule wardrobe. Again, I really need to plan better. All the pieces eventually were made, just not in time for the trip. If you're wondering where the fabric came from, almost everything except a couple of exceptions came from the clearance section of Fabricland here in Calgary. First up, the items that actually made it to Regina. A cottagecore blouse and a pair of secret pants. I used a linen blend fabric for the Liseron blouse by Wildflower Design. The wildflower culottes are from Helen's Closet, and I made them in black fabric of some unknown fiber. This pair were an immediate hit. I had to pin the shoulders into position for the blouse's first wearing, but I managed to fix them when I got home. That was mostly an error on my part due to being rushed. Also, bras for larger women tend to take up more real estate on the shoulders, and my shoulders are fairly narrow. So hiding the bra straps is always going to be a challenge for me with a blouse like this, at least until I can find my strapless. So because I chose to wear this blouse, you're probably going to see my bra straps fairly often throughout the course of the video. Sorry. The culottes are comfortable and I probably should wear them more often, but I find myself having to hike them up when going up and down the stairs. And if I'm trying to carry anything, it can be a pain and dangerous. They're also not easy to drive in because of all the extra fabric. So they're my once in a while pants that are always very comfy and make me wonder why I don't wear them more often. I made the coquelicot skirt from Wildflower Designs in a dark navy suiting material, and this was not a great idea because the skirt is way too heavy for actual wear. It's gorgeous when it's on, but I've had very little need for a circle skirt in the past year, let alone one made from heavy suiting. You never know when you're going to need a basic circle skirt though, so it's good to have it in the wardrobe. I'm going to be really honest here. As a person who has historically found even regular clothing fussy and hard to fasten for one reason or another, I don't particularly like the split side construction, at least not at this point. As a person who's felt clumsy their whole life, fumbling with ties on the skirt just causes me anxiety. Add in 2 young cats who think playing with dangling ties is just the best, and you have the start of a good psychic meltdown. So I probably won't be revisiting this project until I have a lot more spoons in my mental cutlery drawer. Right now, a well-made waistband with a solid hook and bar closure is probably more my speed. I mean, I know it's disappointing, but it's good to learn these things sooner rather than later, like when you have a whole wardrobe of clothing you won't wear. The March dress and the Gilbert top, both by Helen's Closet, were the last garments sewn for the Capsule wardrobe, and along the way I picked up embroidery because I wanted to be able to decorate my clothing with stitchwork. The March dress is the exception to the clearance fabric haul. I bought the black linen in 2003, I think, from Fabric Depot, and the printed quilting cotton came from Fabricland. Possibly on sale, but no guarantees. I love the March dress and I've worn it a few times now. I think the first public wearing was to a relative's retirement party this past summer, and I've tried to find excuses to wear it since. I like the V-neck when the laces are undone, but putting anything in the pockets tends to pull the dress down, so more of my chest is showing than I'm actually comfortable with. So I may have to do a slight alteration at the neck opening. Otherwise, love it. I may have to make more, possibly in a single fabric rather than contrasts. The Gilbert top will be great once my hips shrink a little bit. It fits fantastic in the shoulders and chest, but I forgot to size up the bottom half of the shirt to compensate for the difference in my waist and hips. That said, I adore the embroidery I did on the back of the shirt. I think it's absolutely fantastic, and I don't know if it'll survive a trip through the washer and dryer, but for now, it's a work of art and I look forward to wearing it hopefully this summer. That takes us up to August, and the hot weather was starting to get unbearable. I figured I needed some loose clothing and hit up the stash and clearance section for more fabric. I wanted to try the Helen's Closet Lockhart and Reynolds patterns, so I started with the Lockhart, both the dress and jumpsuit variations. The dress was made from a linen blend that, like the pink blend earlier in the year, was too sheer. So I had to tack in a petticoat layer. Because the fabric is so sheer, it's fine. I had to do a little finessing to fit properly in the bust, and I'll probably have to alter that again come summer, but it's a nice, cool dress. It does the job. I've worn it a few times around the house, and I look forward to giving it more use this spring and summer.
Because it's a little bit more demure, I guess.
So demure, so meditative.
That's it.
The jumpsuit, made from the same unknown fiber as the Winslow culottes, is something I need to have patience for. I don't like having to get half undressed to use the bathroom, then have the husbeast or a friend check to make sure I didn't get my shirt caught in the back zipper. Again, I have enough trouble handling t-shirts and jeans. Amazingly enough, I used to live in overalls, but I've gotten much more persnickety since then. We'll see whether the jumpsuit gets much use this spring and summer. I may add some embroidery to the chest just to liven it up a bit. Also, the jumpsuit had a false start because I neglected to check the rise before I put the pieces together. So there's another ill-fitting jumpsuit floating around my closet. There's always the possibility it will turn into separates. I made the Reynolds dress in September out of a linen blend that wasn't quite so sheer, and it was a total win. Looks good, comfortable, because it's a floral, it doesn't need any extra adornment. It's perfect the way it is, which is highly unusual. It's possible I'll make another one of these down the line. Highly recommend, though I might make it even a bit more smaller in the top than I had originally. It fit a little large on me, but that might just be because my body size has been changing. September was also the month for Shirtwaist September. If you're unfamiliar with shirtwaist or shirt dress September, Serena had stated that shirt dresses, which have evolved in one way or another over the past 100 years or so, look good on everyone. Some folks in her comments disagreed. Our mutual friend Ashley Main challenged Serena to put it to the test, so they encouraged makers of all sizes to make shirt dresses in September. I made the Asteria dress by Jennifer Lauren Handmade. It's possibly the prettiest thing I've made all year. It's flattering and it fits well. The color is also stunning, and I'm looking forward to wearing this one a lot more this summer. The one thing that really made a difference in the Asteria dress, as well as the Lockhart and Reynolds, is that I learned how to do a full bust adjustment. I also tried paying attention to the Closet Historian's videos where she tackles dart manipulation. This came in super handy for getting the right fit in the bust. I'd made a mock-up of the Asteria without the FBA, and the darts hit in entirely the wrong place. With the adjustment and a little bit of dart manipulation, everything looks a whole lot better. That takes us to autumn. I'd wanted to do more in October, but I had a lot of personal things taking up my time away from the house. I did make some project bags and got a bit of a start on a project I'd been wanting to work on for over a year, the Wednesday dress. Because the shirt dress I'd made for the Enid project was a bit of a flop, I went back to the drawing board. I wanted something I could bolt a tatted collar onto, but would also get more wear. I eventually settled on the Jenna dress from Closet Core. It's oversized and rather shapeless in the chest, but it does have a nice collar to pin the tatting to. The tatting came out fantastic, but I don't have a lot of call to wear it. It's a piece of art more than anything. I'm glad I made it and that I have it, and if I want to dress up as Wednesday again in the future, it'll be right there waiting. The dress? Super comfy. Like the March dress, it kind of pulls in the shoulders and neck if there's anything substantial in the pockets. It didn't come with side pockets, that was my addition. Also, the fabric kind of bunched up at the gathered waist. That could be an issue with the fabric, which is a bit more bulky than I expected. Either way, it's a great dress for lounging around the house. I'd make it again, but I'd probably stop short at making the full collar. Maybe stop at a collar stand. That way, if I really wanted them, I could make detachable collars. See, that's one of the things I really like about some of my historical explorations of the past. I can pick and choose construction elements from different eras to get outfits that work for me. Things like detachable collars. I wasn't sure what to do for December. One of our cats had broken her leg and spent most of her time in veterinarian-prescribed crate rest in the living room. She's now allowed some supervised time out and about as long as she's not jumping, but we're taking things slow so she can get back to her normal life. This meant I wasn't spending a lot of time sewing in the basement. It felt wrong to leave the kitty alone in the living room while I was occupied elsewhere, particularly as her sister will follow me around the house instead of napping in solidarity. Also, with the Yuletide season coming up, my basement has been taken over as a storage area for all of the things we didn't want guests tripping on, so that's going to be one of my first projects of 2025, cleaning out and reorganizing my sewing area. I thought I'd try taking a stab at Vlogmas. I didn't complete it because things started getting seriously busy by the last couple of days. If I decide to do a Vlogmas or a Craftmas again, I'll try planning in advance for that. The project I chose for Vlogmas was a crazy quilt pattern that was published in the July 1884 issue of Godey's Ladies book. The issue not only had the pattern but featured a story, The Career of a Crazy Quilt by Dulcie Ware. I had wondered how I was going to tackle the whole story behind the project, so I made that my objective over the month. I'm not sure it came out the way I wanted, but an attempt was made. I plan on making at least one more video on the subject when the quilt is done to tie everything up, so you can expect that sometime in the first quarter of the year as well. And that pretty much catches us up. I've been taking a little time off to do a little recreational crafting and just take a break before launching back into regular videos. I learned a lot this year. Being able to stretch from one pattern company to a small handful was great. I learned about the burrito method of putting a yoke on a shirt. I did a few full bust adjustments and an arm adjustment. I'm drafting in the lines between sizes. Good stuff all around. That's not even taking into account getting more comfortable with crochet and tatting and learning embroidery and patchwork. As it stands, the big wins for the year were the March dress, the Jenna dress, and the Asteria dress, with the Lockhart and Reynolds as good summer alternates. I like the Liseron blouse, but the shoulders are always a bit of a pain, and the Winslow culottes are fantastic when I need something dressy but comfortable and I don't have to carry things up or down the stairs. The Lockhart jumpsuit may also get some use this summer, but probably not in heavy rotation. The Coquelicot skirt was a miss, as was the Grace apron. The Gilbert top will probably be good later in the summer. Things I can see myself needing. I need tops. I find myself wearing a lot of long and short sleeve t-shirts, and sometimes that's exactly what you need. Sometimes it would be nice to have something a little nicer without being over the top or too dressy. There's a couple of top patterns on my radar that I'm thinking of trying this year. A fun dress. Something I can wear out with the husband and feel totally frivolous wearing. He got me some seriously fantastic fabric for Yule, about 4.7 meters, which was what was left in the bolt, so I'm looking forward to seeing what I can make from it. That's not the only dress. I believe that there's at least one more witchy black hole dress on the list. I know I bought fabric for it. Also a knit dress. I haven't worked with knit fabric yet, and I picked some up on clearance last year. I think that one might be good while the weather is still cool. And of course something for Halloween. I have a couple of options that I'm entertaining, and I'll talk about those more when we get a little bit closer. Or maybe it'll just be a surprise. I'm gonna need pants. Right now I'm holding on to a bit of weight because of the Christmas season and all of the fattening foods that come with it, and I'm comfortable with that. I'm not going to cry over regaining 10 pounds of water weight because I indulged in a French toast bake or a little bit of pie. We're not even going to go into the sweet potatoes with marshmallow topping. They were tasty and they were worth it. Once all the full sugar sweetened leftovers are gone, I'm going back to my healthy low sugar eating, and my jeans are going to start getting baggy again. See, I started last January in a pair of form-fitting size 4X Pennington's Relaxed Fit yoga pants. Relaxed Fit. At the beginning of December, the size 26 jeans that fit like a second skin in April were starting to fall off my butt. Right now, they're comfortable. In another month, that'll likely change. I have a couple of fabrics I've been saving for pants and pants-adjacent clothes, so I'll be looking forward to exploring those, hopefully with good results. I also need one or more sweaters. I bought something like 3 or 4 commercial cowl neck sweaters a couple of years back, and I'm seriously starting to swim in them now, so I'd kinda like to knit or crochet a couple more in a smaller size, so I have something for chilly days and nights. Maybe a couple of detachable cowl necks or dickies that I can bolt on under other sweaters to keep my neck warm. I saw that Kaz Rowe apparently made a hooded scarf from an extant example at the Met, and I've always wanted something like that, so that's a possible project. How can you tell? We're currently in a month where I'm constantly thinking about staying warm. I also have a handful of other crafting projects I need to finish, like my crocheted Edwardian capelet. That one will probably be a stunner if I ever finish it. Guess I better go get started.